What is going on, y'all? How are y'all doing today? I'm Mr. G,
I'm Agent X.
I'm the bishop.
and welcome to the Nexus podcast, where we bring together all the media that you love, where we talk about Buffy, Xena, Game of Thrones, and more, with Charmed always being the heart and center of what we do. We are here to discuss episode 3 of season 1 of Charmed. Thank you for not morphing. I'm excited to talk about this one because I feel like this was some juicy material to talk about, and I feel like it was just a good, well-rounded episode.
Oh yes, it's one of my favorites of season one.
I see why, especially after going back and watching it, because there was just so much. And we were talking about this earlier. I'm so glad that they changed Victor's, because God love him. He's something kind of menacing, but we'll get into that. Because my God in heaven. Or what did you think about it? Let's just go ahead and get into it. How about that? Let's just dive on in.
Let's do it.
Loki was giving Predator from like Law and Order.
It was very much so.
Because he was kind of borderline flirting with Prue.
Ew, he was. And then, like, when Phoebe came in there when he was getting that massage, I half expected him, like, when he hugged her, for her to be like, "What's that?" And then look down. Like, that was what it was just very creepy.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why they recast him, because he wasn't giving fatherly vibes.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it was like guilted lover a little bit.
Yeah, like he was mad because he can't be around his ladies, his harem. Graham stopped him from being around his harem.
And now we know why.
So, for those of y'all who may not have seen the episode before, Thank You For Not Morphing is basically us being introduced to the sister's father, Victor. He's come back into town. The sisters aren't quite sure why. And around the same time, someone is breaking into the Halliwell Manor. Someone's trying to get the book. And it's becoming more and more clear that Victor may be connected to this. So let's talk about, because one thing I really, really want to talk about, because I even specifically wrote down, we are still at the point in the series when demons needed keys to get into the house. The demons needed a key to get into the house. Like, what are we doing? What is Zanku would never. Zanku would
never. but that's so thoughtful though. Because they could have just like broke a window, broke down the door.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy did in the attic. Just broke through everything.
It was like, okay, I'm gonna just kick this door off the hinges because it's not opening for me. I'm just gonna kick it off.
But what's so funny about that is he used his key finger to get in the house, and then when he got up there, instead of using his key finger to get into the attic, he was just like, "Okay, now I'm mad, and I'm just gonna kick the door."
It's the way to say key finger for me.
So,
you know what? I forgot I can make keys out of my fingers. So I'm gonna hit it twice. All right, and not to jump too far ahead, but the way Prue came around that corner and saw that door kicked off, there's hinges.
Yes. And then are we going to acknowledge the fact that every single time the door was like open or whatever else, Prue just walked on in like it was nobody's business. Like, I think even if she hadn't had magic, she still would have walked in like that. Because when she walked in and she saw the dog, well, all of a sudden she goes to turn around and run out. And I'm like, baby, you got magic. Just throw the dog back.
Well, why didn't she close the door behind her with her power?
She said the door was already open, okay?
The dog is running behind you. You can just close the door, Prue.
Well, Prue had that lust for murder, but she didn't want to kill the dog. So she had to run out because she couldn't kill a dog on the WB.
On the WB. Not on the WB.
Not animal cruelty.
Yeah. Nah, if this was on HBO or something, that dog would have been over for that dog.
That dog would have got taken out of here. Do you hear me?
Baby, she would have took that dog out quicker than Neville took out Nagini. Listen, But it is interesting because like season 3 Prue probably would have thrown the dog because I feel like her power would have been so in instinct at that point. She would have
Yeah.
just went ahead through the dog and done whatever after that. But it's kind of like with Piper, where at this point in the game, Piper's power is not necessarily like instinct for her. I think it just kind of happens. Like when Victor tripped the waiter with the thing and she froze the room. I really don't think she was trying to. It was just like, oh God. Like
Yeah.
this has happened again. So it's funny to watch them still kind of like not even think about the magic being there. They're aware of it, but I don't think they're like it's not part of them yet. Like it will be later on in the show.
It was interesting when she froze the restaurant because they even she looked surprised, like, wait, did I just do that?
And Phoebe did that little thing like, like, girl, what did you do?
I think was that the first time we saw her like freeze the room. Remember she froze when they were in the kitchen, but like she froze the whole restaurant and they how long did they stay frozen? I'm like drawing a blank all of a sudden, but it was a good little second and she
It
got the
was a
thing. It's a good second, right?
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, enough for her to go get the baked Alaska.
And my thing is,
Mhm.
did you not think that before you froze this, you were seated at the table? Now you're unfrozen and you're standing up, and no one's going to say she wasn't there a minute ago.
Right,
Right.
be like, how did she jump up and get there?
Like she could at least sit it on the floor.
Something.
That's true. That is true though. And I think that goes back to like they still didn't know how long the power lasted at that point. So I guess she was like, do I have time to like stage it? And she just kind of grabbed it and was like, I for whenever they unfreeze.
Yeah, because it did kind of unfreeze before she was ready. Like she just got into place
Mm-hmm.
and everything
Mm-hmm.
unfroze.
Mm-hmm. But that was
Yeah,
so bold of Victor to assume that she would freeze it. Like, what if she didn't care?
yeah, or could.
Right. Right. Like what I understand he was testing them, but it's like, so you did all of that, and then she may or may not have even been able to freeze the room. Okay.
Yeah.
To the hospital.
And, and was it because I didn't get to see that part. Was it on fire?
Yes.
And so he was risking that man's life.
It's a bird on the restaurant.
He was gonna burn down that restaurant. He was gonna burn off that man's face. He said he was gonna do whatever he needed to do to prove they got that magic. He was Nicholas before we knew about Nicholas.
Right. No wonder Patty got them mixed up.
Oh. But speaking of getting them mixed up, this Victor did seem very dark. Like he seemed, if you had told me that he was evil in some shape, form, or fashion, I would have believed you because the ease with which he was handling those shapeshifters and then just that shifty way he was talking to them, like when he was when they were at the manor, he was like, oh yeah, the Book of Shadows. I haven't seen that in 20 years and 5 days. Do you think I could
Yeah.
see it?
Yeah, I
I'm like,
bet he could start like reciting spells from it.
I mean, that's what it was given. It seemed like he had spent a lot of times with it, and I don't know how to feel about that.
There probably was a spell in the back of the book about him. Grand's probably put a spell in there about Victor, actually.
Oh,
Probably
she
did.
did. Oh, that hussy did.
And
You
that's
know it.
that's why he wanted the book so he could get it and take it out.
Mm-hmm. Because when he picked up that picture, and then you know what was so petty about Grams, and I loved it in that moment, is the fact that she took time to specifically cut his part of the picture out and then still put the entire thing back in the frame. Like, ma'am.
Yes.
I feel like magically did something. She said, "No, I'm gonna get my scissors. It's gonna feel good. This is therapeutic. Cut it out and put this back in this frame and sit right here."
Okay. Graham said she was putting this on display. And
Like this is a good picture. You're not gonna ruin that.
okay, she said that look, I got one all these girls together, they're not all screaming and doing all this and that. So I'm sorry, you're not taking this. Not today.
You ruin this.
So, how do y'all feel about this being the first time that we see demons specifically trying to steal the Book of Shadows?
I thought it was really cool. And also seeing for the first time that you can't get the book out the house. I loved seeing that demon struggling to get that book out the house. The book was like, I'm actually not going. I'm not. You can keep trying. I'm not going to go. And it was really cool to see it, I thought.
Oh, very. The
Because
book was given very.
Yeah.
they don't realize it. Like, they don't even know it yet, but we know it as viewers, and they don't know it as sisters and witches.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it gives you a good, I think, tone for the future, because knowing that the book is eventually going to get to where evil can't even touch it really lets you see how much they grew over the course of that show.
Yeah.
And it
And
lends a lot more power to what Melinda was saying, sometimes you add to it, sometimes it adds to you.
like and the funny thing is like, how would she even know that? Like this is your book of shadows that you just started.
Now she only saw the book one time. She burned.
For the pamphlet, man.
It's like, but it's so funny because she said like it asks you, it'll teach you, but like at that point, like she was the only one putting things into the book of shadows. So what could it add to her? What could it teach her?
Listen, Melinda said, I'm trying to sound wise, okay? The last time I saw this book, it only had the cover and one page in it, okay? She said, that's all that was up in here. I don't know what to tell you.
The writer said, let's give her something profound to say. It'll actually make no sense, and no one's going to check it, so it's fine.
I do kind of wonder if, like, she was the one who put the enchantment on the book, to tie it to the family. And what I mean by that is like how it does protect itself from evil and whatnot, and it strengthens, based on the strength of, I guess, the owners at the time. Like, I wonder if she was the one who set that magic into place, or if it's like a natural kind of magic because they are adding little pieces of themselves and their knowledge to it.
I could see it being a little bit of both. Like she
Mm-hmm.
initially, put the protective spell on a book, but then tied that spell, like to their family's magic.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the book's magic could grow stronger with each generation.
True, true. I could see that. I could see that because, baby, that book was giving that man the fight of his life. And then, but see, I think the book wanted to be petty after the way he grabbed it up, because it was just
Yep.
sitting on a stand. He didn't have to do all he did. Like, he grabbed the book up so hard that like dust started flying. All he had to do was pick it up.
He did have to snatch that book off that thing like that, though. He really did.
Yeah,
Mm-mm,
he
it
was
was
disrespectful.
He was mad. He was just mad because he couldn't open that door that he could have very easily opened with his little magic key hand. And then at some point in the show, well, I mean, obviously the attic door was locked this episode, but like, where did they get the key? Because did they ever have a key to open it? Because they never could open it when they were little, but then all of a sudden they got a key to lock it and unlock it.
Well, I guess they finally got someone to like change the locks, which I don't know why they didn't think to do that before.
We need to get in there, and all of a sudden, we never actually saw them like lock the door, did we?
Past this episode, I don't remember them ever locking the door to the attic. After that, they said, listen, if you get up in there, whatever you find is what you find.
Because I don't
Right.
remember the door being closed after that. Wasn't just open, right? For the most part. So they would
I
just
think
walk down.
they would close it sometimes, like when there was a need for it, but even that wasn't often. Like, I think the one of the times I remember them closing it was, did they close it with the Stillmans? Remember after they lost their power, after Mitzi, not Mitzi, Jesus, after Mabel blew up the wall and they all ran upstairs to go get weapons and stuff, and
Oh yeah.
I think it was closed then, but I don't remember. I don't know. I could very much be wrong.
We only really saw the actual door a handful of times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes it don't even seem like it had a door.
There was one
I
scene,
mean,
one episode, I forgot when it was, maybe season three, where Prue was upstairs and Phoebe was downstairs, and somehow they could talk to each other. And I'm thinking, how is that even possible? How can you
Yes.
hear her down here and you up in the attic?
And then didn't in the opener to season 3 when Prue was studying the book, didn't Phoebe like slam the door open and then that's why Prue threw her across the room?
She threw a hard
oh
shot.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like she would have done that dog.
Exactly. Exactly. That is
And she meant
exactly what would
that.
happen to that
And
dog.
she was back. I mean, she meant that though. She meant it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She threw that girl so hard, I was like,
She knew it was her.
okay.
She knew it was her sister. She knew.
She knew exactly. But
Okay,
then also, why was Phoebe just busting up in the room like that, legs spread open?
right. Also, I just looked at the clip for the Power of Three Blondes, and the door was closed because the Stillman sisters opened it
Mm-hmm.
when
And then Mabel froze them because she got
frozen.
scared. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, child. They need to do better because listen, but it was the beginning stages, so I understand why they were locking the door. They weren't sure if someone got in the house, what's gonna happen. So I get it. I understand.
Door, but you can lock your attic door. I understand.
So let me ask y'all this. What do y'all think the shapeshifters were going to do with the book once they got it?
I was wondering the same thing because, but outside of shapeshifting, they didn't display any sort of magic.
Mm-mm.
Like, I don't even know if they could say a single spell in the book. I don't know if they were going to pass it up to somebody higher up or what.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
They were going to try to, I don't know, give the book to somebody, maybe barter with the book.
Yeah, maybe try
Yeah.
to gain favor with the source.
Mhm.
Yeah. And see, that is one of those things that begs a question like, okay, some random lower level demons like these shapeshifters, because I'm just assuming that they were lower level. If they, okay, let's say they get the book to the source in exchange for some kind of, power, prestige, or whatever. What they gonna be doing? Like, what? It's not like these three shapeshifters are finna be his personal assassins, I would assume. Because I mean, they couldn't even get in a door without a key. So,
Right.
so like, what's happening?
Because I mean, what could they even do with the book though? I don't know. What could they do with it? I mean, we saw what the Braxis was able to do with it, but
Mm-hmm.
it never actually left the house.
Yeah.
So what would the source actually do with the book? Like, what would he be capable of doing with it?
And see, that's a good question. I think we saw multiple times where demons were after the book, specifically like the Dark Priestess was after the book specifically, but her situation I feel like was a little different because by the time she got it, it had already started kind of turning evil itself. And so there were
Right.
spells in there that she could actually use. I feel like Cole wanted the book, but I think he would have had a little bit more magical know-how as an upper
Yeah.
level demon to actually know how to use the spells and make the potions and things like that. And I guess even for a lower level demon like the shapeshifters, maybe they would be able to make the potions that could vanquish their enemies. Like kind of how the
Yeah.
Stillmans were like, oh, it's got a lot of good vanquishing tips. Maybe it was gonna be something like that where they were like gonna systematically, take out these upper level demons and become upper level demons, which would grant them more access to powers and things like that. So they would have a wider arsenal.
Right. Uh, like, were the shapeshifters, were they demons or warlocks?
That's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question.
Uh, I'm trying to see if there's anything on the fandom page.
Okay.
Because if they were warlocks, I guess they should be able to say some kind of spell.
Yeah,
Though in the latest season, demons could say spells and do potions too. So
that is true. That is true. You about had it to where humans could do potions, make potions and do spells, but that's neither here nor there. Let me just hush myself up. So, what do y'all think of their plan itself? Like, because it kind of seemed like they were aware that these are the charmed ones, and we can't just come in here playing games. I did like the fact that they did understand that we can't just come at them any kind of way. But it kind of seemed like their plan was really flimsy because all of it
Yeah.
hinged on being able to get in and out of the house. Like there wasn't any kind of like any thought process really put behind it. It was like, okay, we get in the house, we try to get the book. And it was just like they kept getting thwarted each time, but it felt very like Scooby-Doo. If it hadn't been for you and those darn witches, you know.
Right. And like getting in and out of the house is like nothing special. Like they do that every episode.
Shut up.
You just new at with at the witchcraft, and you still can't get over on them.
Yeah,
Right.
like Jeremy was walking in and out the house.
Jeremy had a key. He didn't have to shapeshift his hand. I can't get over that. I keep bringing that key up because that is ridiculous to me. That we are. This is a show about magic, and you got these folks up here using a finger key to get in the house. That's crazy.
Nobody ever on the street ever sees anybody going in and out of their house. Like nobody saw the man go up on the porch and just
Well,
walk
I
out.
I made a note about Prudence because I wanted to punch her. There were several times where Prue should have seen what was going on and she just didn't.
He
When
was
that
right
man was
there
standing,
on the porch.
he was fighting with the Book of Shadows. He had a magical book that was floating in the air and glowing. And Prue was just rounding the corner. She's not even looking up, not paying no attention. And it happened another time where she's walking up and she was looking. She had to have seen him, and she still was just in La La Land. And I'm like, Prue, baby, come on now. You got to be a little bit more
About
on it than
how she could drag Phoebe when she got the house.
this.
I'm home from work. Those of us who went to work today.
Well, she really was at the beginning of the episode. She was very, and listen, I love me some Prudence down. She was kind of unnecessarily coming for Prue. I mean, for Phoebe. I'm getting myself mixed up.
She was.
She was unnecessarily coming for her in the beginning. She was like, "Yeah, I've got to get up early for work." Something you wouldn't know anything about. And I'm like, "Oh my god, y'all are just walking across the street."
No, she ain't got no job. Why are you acting like this?
Yeah, that was OD.
Mm-mm. I was mad at my girl. I said, "Now listen, now that girl ain't done nothing to you except exist and have her hair in a curl. You ain't got no reason to be coming to her like this."
I guess
Instead of
she's
what are
still
they
mad.
doing?
I guess she's still mad about the witch thing. She
She
being
said, "This
passive
is your
aggressive.
fault." She said, "This is your fault." So, okay, all right. I know we kind of skip, or I'm kind of skipping around by with some of the questions that I have, but speaking of stealing the book and how it coincided with Victor, did it seem strange at all that Victor was just randomly working with these demons? Or am I tripping?
No, he was very familiar with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he knew that they were shapeshifters.
Mm-hmm.
Like how?
This whole thing was his plan. That's what was given.
Right. Like he was colluding with them from the beginning, and then
Mm-hmm.
then the shapeshifters got impatient and was ready to turn on them.
Like, I guess my thing with it was like, okay, they're coming in here, they obviously know you, and they're like, we still have Victor. And I'm like, okay, so y'all been breaking into the house with finger keys, and your last resort is Victor? Shouldn't that be where we start? It was just very weird. And then for him, I think it would have made it better if he had been like, look, we have a common goal. I want to get the book away from them to save them. You want to get the book, period. But it almost came off like they were more partners than reluctant partners.
Right.
Like
And really,
it really seemed evil. He genuinely seemed like he was evil.
like to be honest, disregarding like the future Victor, like it seemed like at the end, like since the shapeshifters were destroyed, he just abandoned that plan and just pretended like, oh yeah, I'm just looking out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Mm-hmm.
wanted the book, but that didn't work out, so I'm gonna spend this to stay in your good graces. to buy himself enough time to get out of town.
Because it was very strange to me that he was like, I came here to protect you. Because I don't know. I think I'm thinking too much into this because he assumes that they got their powers after Grams died, which I can understand how he made that connection. But at the same time, it's like you didn't think to come back at any point in their lives except after. I guess he was waiting for Grams to die. Never mind. He was waiting for Grams to die. Let me be quiet. I just answered my own
Oh,
question.
You pretty much said it. I'm waiting for her to die.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
because well, he wasn't welcome into the house.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. He
He
was
didn't
not
know
welcome into Penelope's home.
he didn't even know which daughter was which. She just knew Prue.
He
Yep.
knew
The
Prue
way,
off the top of his head, but the other ones, he's like, you're.
like the way he played, like he
Yeah.
was so menacing as Victor that I was saying to you earlier. If that's the kind of vibe that Penny was getting from him, I understand why she hated him. She was
Mm-hmm.
very, I don't know the word I'm looking for. It was a little gaslighty, a little nonchalant, like very dusting off of their feelings, almost like you
Mm-hmm.
should be thankful that I'm even here now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I understand why Grams didn't like you.
Right.
Exactly.
It seemed like he
Exactly.
really cared about, like, I get that she was hard to fight. I get that. But it kind of seems like you just stopped fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she would
Mm-hmm.
have respected, I think on some level, had he kept fighting, I think Grams would have respected it. Now, she never would have liked him, but she would have respected it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's at least trying to, they do have in common that they love the girls, and he's at least trying to fight to see them. But the fact that he just walked away, I feel like in her mind, kind of proved her point that he wasn't worth nothing. Like, why would I go out of my way to let you see them and you don't even care enough to come try to see them?
She didn't even send up no money. She ain't got no child support, nothing for no diapers, nothing for no food.
She's sitting up here having to kill husbands just so that she can.
Right. Just to get some insurance money.
So it's like I get why she was mad.
I am glad that, like you said, I'm glad the actor changed because I feel like had they not changed him, I don't know if I knew Victor, I warmed up to him later on specifically, but even the way he portrayed him, it was less self-serving, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Except
Yes.
for
It
the
seemed like he
whole,
really cared about them as
except for
people.
when he pimped his daughter out to try to buy that land. Outside
And
of that,
yeah.
because that right
When
there,
he
that was season one Victor that showed up in that episode.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because baby, I would have sent him. I was very shocked. Like Prue didn't like call him out on that. I was very shocked that that wasn't something that she was like, this is why we shouldn't have trusted you in the first place. But I guess it was, I guess she was focusing on Phoebe and was like, okay, we'll revisit
yeah.
this another day. And they just didn't get a chance to revisit it.
Yeah. She had to deal with that and then Piper's wedding, it was all a lot. And then
It was
Victor.
definitely a lot.
And then Victor, he bounced as soon as he got a chance to. So she, by the time she was put in enough space to do it, he was gone, and and she didn't ever see him again.
Okay. Now, there is one thing I really need, Charmed. I need them, and we discussed this before. I need them to get their timeline together because here they basically said he left before Patty died, and then he never really came back around. Or that was the way they
Yeah,
kind of insinuated, what happened. But later on, he's up here babysitting Prue when she's like 13, 15, 27. And because that girl was in high school when she got sucked into that ice cream truck thing. That
Definitely,
girl,
she
yeah.
was going for her driving test.
she was getting ready to go drive to apply to college.
And then Piper had their random memory of Grams and Victor arguing.
And she was having her quinceanera herself right then and there.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out at what point this man stopped coming around.
They don't even know. They don't know
Listen,
because
listen.
Prue was definitely a young adult in that clip. She really was.
I'm like, okay, so when did he stop? Because okay, we see him with this thing with Prue, we see him with Piper, but we still don't ever see him with Phoebe. So now I need to understand because sometimes Phoebe act like she didn't know him. He obviously didn't recognize her. So it's clearly been decades since he has seen her. But how old was she? Was she a baby? Was she fresh out the cat? Like what? I need to understand a timeline between when he said, okay, this the last time I'm coming to see these gals in 1998. But anyway.
Yeah. Oh, and I feel so bad because he probably went out of his way to avoid seeing Phoebe.
Yeah.
Because if Prue was
Yeah.
that old, Phoebe had to have been a young child, and it was like, I don't really want to see her.
Yeah.
But didn't he
Eh,
say like he said like Grams was out with Piper and Phoebe and Prue was sick. But I don't remember if he said Patty or Grams because I think Patty was still alive at that point. I don't know. I don't remember. Because oh he it was very specific. Like he said, I know he said that Piper and Phoebe were out, but I don't remember if he said with your mother or with Grams. But he was there with her.
oh, yeah, yeah, because she was sick.
Yeah.
I can't remember either.
And then let's just talk about the fact. Okay, yeah, Prue saw the little boy. She wanted to go help the child. That's great. That's good. That's great. That's fine. Why was my girl walking around outside with no shoes on? And now she's in this ice cream truck with no shoes on. Like
No,
she
the
was gonna
reason.
go join Casper because y'all
No,
remember in Casper when he was like his daddy bought him that sled for Christmas and he went outside and he played with it. And his mama told him to come back in and he said and he just kept going and he got pneumonia and died. Like
Oh,
Prudence was saving innocence at 8 years old and she was gonna go join Casper the Friendly Ghost. Let me be quiet. So speaking of Victor being back in the girls' lives, everyone has their own reaction to it, but it does seem like Piper is more on Phoebe's side with this. So, how did y'all feel about the way each sister reacted to Victor's coming back? And do you feel like they had something that defined them as a character?
I kind of get Phoebe's reaction because like she has no memories of Victor, so it's easy to like kind of project like positive feelings on like someone you don't know. Like you see it all the time, like with an absentee parent where like the parent who is there, they get all the blame and but the absentee parent kind of get like idealized.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that what happened with Phoebe,
Yeah.
like she just created like this version of Victor in her head. Like it wasn't really his fault that he left. Like he had to leave for some reason, but if it wasn't for that reason, like he would have been there, would have been fully involved in their lives, and she just held on to that.
Mm-hmm.
they say a lot of
Mm-hmm.
And I,
sanitized parent that wasn't there.
yeah,
I get it. I get it. I actually wish we talked a little bit about how Piper, how she clearly felt the way that Phoebe felt, but Prue, being that older sister who experienced her father for what he was, just kind of shut them down and didn't really even want them to want to have a relationship with him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
like she was definitely trying to dedicate. She was trying to dictate the way they reacted to it because it was given very I know what's best for you, so you just follow along with what I'm saying. And that kind of headstrong reaction to it, I hate to say is definitely something that I would expect from Grams because Grams always felt like, the way she saw things was the right way. And that's how Prue was acting in this moment was like, look, I said this. This is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna proceed. But Phoebe being Phoebe was like, baby, I said I want to see him and I'm gonna see him. and she did what she
Right.
needed to do. She got her feelings hurt because he didn't know which one she was. But it's funny watching her make excuses for him. Like, she doesn't get caught up in him not knowing who she was. You could tell it hurt her feelings, but she bounced back and was like, "Yeah, it's been a long time. You hadn't seen me. Da 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 da." He's trying to like throw things at her. Do you want a massage? Do you want some food? Do you want this? Do you want that? I think he's just trying to express to her, like, here, I can do something. And Phoebe's like, I just want your time. And it's Phoebe's reaction is really, really interesting to me in retrospect, because this is one of the first times that we see Phoebe put her personal desires over her sisters, because Phoebe was lying to these people, because she had an entire premonition about this man from her perspective at the time, taking the Book of Shadows. And she don't even say, not only did she not say anything about it, but when Prue said that Victor was probably the one that was trying to take the book, Phoebe adamantly denied it and was like,
And
oh, so Andy was here. It could be Andy trying to
right.
take the book. And I'm like, Phoebe, you had the vision of him taking the book. Like, what? Like, Phoebe, I was like, girl, this your daddy, but you letting the bird come out.
Right. Like you see the proof. Like you see him taking the book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was right. I mean, like literally unfolding in front of her eyes. And Phoebe's like, mm-mm. She's like, I didn't want to believe it. And then when she came clean and she told them about it, it was weird because she had this almost like, I didn't want to tell you that you were right, but now I
Oh,
kind of got
definitely.
to. Like, you could tell she did not want to tell Prue she was right. And then you could
Oh
tell she
no.
was hurt, but she did not want Prue to be right. I was like, girl, you trying to get buck with her, and she's right.
Are you ever going to tell them about this premonition? Ever?
It's not looking like she was. I think she was gonna keep it
Oh
to herself
no.
if she could have.
Oh, oh
That's
definitely.
trifling. That's so trifling.
I think it's so funny, like her reaction to Victor, and compare it to like when they went back in time, like meet Patty. It wasn't the same at all. She was very happy to see Victor had very fine things to say about him, but like Patty, she up and died on us.
Okay.
like
Yes.
like it was her decision. But Victor, this man that walked out on y'all. Oh, he's a
Mm-hmm.
good person. Oh, we should hear him out.
And I just want to meet him. I just want to do. And I wonder if she I almost wonder if she had that level of, what word am I looking for? I hate when I'm trying to think of a word and I can't think of it. If she was disconnected because Patty died and there wasn't a chance that she could see her. Like with Victor, he's there. Like, yeah, he did wrong, but I can look at him. I can talk to him. He's here. But Patty is like, nah, she's just gone.
Yeah.
She didn't have to be gone. I guess in her mind, she didn't have to go up there and do that dumb plan.
Exactly.
But to come at you
Exactly.
and got herself unalived.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I just I don't know. Cause it was very, you would think that she would be more angry with Victor because like he was there the entire time and just chose not to be. But I think that goes to show Phoebe's ability to sort of like go with the punches. Cause I think her mind was like, okay, I could sit here and I could be mad at him because he wasn't there, or I can just take the lemons and make me some lemonade. At least I got him here. We might be a happy family. I may have a good relationship with him. And that's her last, like, at that point, one of her last parental figures. Because especially after Prue dies, Victor is the only one she has. I mean, because Piper wasn't her mama. She never really, she looked at Piper as motherly, but not her mother. So it's like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like Prue was the one that mothered Phoebe,
Yeah.
whereas Piper was just motherly and had like those
Yeah,
comforting tendencies. It's just
it was like Prue was the mother, Piper was the matron.
mm-hmm.
So she,
Mm-hmm. Piper was like that cool grandma that comes in and gives you like some hard candy.
yeah.
We'll make you some cookies or something.
Mm-hmm. She gonna burn you some cookies real quick. And it's
She's gonna
like
poison you. She's gonna poison you with the cookies real quick. I'm just joking. Don't nobody write me no angry tweets or letters.
okay.
but
And they shan't.
but the tech supports her burning cookies. We saw that. We saw her burn cookies.
And that is
So
true.
so no one can even say anything about that because we all saw it.
That is true. We did watch her burn them cookies.
Them cookies were hard as hell.
And baby, I know them things. They probably had to get a new stove after that. But anywho, let me stop. I digress. I think, we were talking earlier, and I love me some Prudence down, but Prue was being a jerk. Like, Prue was being so domineering, and it's interesting because you can definitely see what they mean when they say like she has always been their de facto leader. She's always been the one that took care of them because in this moment Prue really was being like an asshat. She really was. There were certain points where I was like, girl, you got to calm down. Not let it go. I would never tell her to let it go, but I was like, girl, you got to bring it down a couple of notches because right now you up here and I need you down here.
Yeah, because it was definitely her way or the highway. She
Mm-hmm.
wasn't considering any other points of view.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. At all. Even when she was like asking him to explain it, she wasn't giving him a chance to explain it. Before he could even get a word out, she's already giving a rebuttal to something. And I'm like, girl, let him finish up what he say.
I told
Oh, but
them and they defied me, basically.
but he messed up when he started going after Graham.
Oh yeah. That was
That's
that was his undoing in that moment.
uh-huh.
I have a question
Mad
for
about her
y'all.
was that bad, but that's just me.
He didn't. I think it was just the wrong time to
It
say it.
was.
Like
It was.
yeah, it was just in the very wrong moment. If he had chosen any other time other than them having this very heated discussion, especially with it after he's already talking about the book and whatever else, talking about he wants to protect them, and that was the other part where I was like, okay, all right, let's let's sit down and talk about this for a minute and think about it out loud. Because when he started talking about how the powers destroyed them or destroyed their mother and it's going to destroy them, and they were like, we'll fight together or we'll protect each other, and he's like, well, then you'll die together. And I was like, this is, and I don't know, let me stop. It felt like a lot of passion coming from someone who kind of I don't want to say shouldn't have that level of passion because those are his children, but at the same time, it's like you have not been an active participant in their lives, and you're now trying to come back after their grandmother has died. From their perspective, their grandmother just died, and now you're coming back talking about you want to protect them from this big horrible thing that you knew they could potentially become. Like I can see where that would be very like, don't play with me.
Yeah, but no matter the context, telling your children that you will die together is a wild thing to say.
Yes.
It is. It kind of is.
You are 100% right. Like that was he jumped all the way out the window with that one. I was like, sir, what? Like, what do you mean? And he said it. He said it for. I know he had been practicing that line for like 20 years. He was ready. He had it in hand. He said, okay, I got
Oh,
something that's gonna gag you real quick.
oh! As soon as Phoebe was born, he started practicing delivery. You'll die together. You'll die together. You, you're going to die together until he got it right.
Yes, because he
Put that
seemed to have a lot of knowledge about magic. He was like, well, from what your mother always said, that's actually one of the most coveted powers. And I'm like, Okay, well, tell me more about Melinda Warren and why she passed the powers down since you know so much since you got your degree.
Right. He learned a lot for the relationship wasn't that long.
Okay. Patty
Like
must have.
I just said, I wonder like when Patty told him that she was a witch.
Well, the way he was talking, and this is me being shady, but the way he was talking, and then when he started talking about that book, I wonder if she knew he was looking at that book like that because he he was like he sounded so together about it. Like it wasn't, he didn't fumble. He wasn't like, I think she said that was the one. He was like, no, from what she said, that was always the most. And then like he could not remember their names. He couldn't tell which one of them was which, but he could remember who had which power. Okay, sir, don't play with me like that. Don't play with me like that. You can't recognize your daughter when she walks in a room, but you know that she has premonitions. Okay, okay, Victor. You you're not looking too good. You're losing some points for the home team.
You're kind of making Grams' point for her.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And then that video that he gave them at the end, I was like, that was shot in the 90s, but that quality is real good. I said, baby, it's crystal clear, ain't
It was HD. Was it 4K?
it? That was 8K, child. I was like, oh my God, maybe it's just the they redid it or something. They remastered it, and that's why it looks so clear. But I was like, I don't think no video from the 70s is gonna look quite that clear.
We can either
Even
spend
video,
money
yeah.
on the demons or we can spend money on this home video. We're gonna spend the money this episode on this home video.
And, and to make it to make even more egregious, it was on a VHS. So
Yes, yes. I was like, okay, Vicky, you need to simmer down. I guess he stole that one last little video before he got up out of there. For Grams kicked him out.
But she actually
Um,
didn't completely erase.
so what?
That's the one video that she didn't completely erase with him in it.
right.
That's the only home video they have as children. Cause Grams took out all the other ones. Oh goodness gracious me alive. So okay, who was y'all's favorite character this episode? Because I feel like there was a lot happening, but did you have like someone that just like really stood out for you?
Oh, I was gonna give it to Prue, for slamming Victor into the wall. But I think I, I think I have to give it to what's her name? Cindy, the the girl shapeshifter. Just for her bloodlust.
That's what Prue learned it from. She was the one taught Prue to take no prisoners because baby, Mama was ready. She was ready to kill. She said,
Yeah.
"Listen, y'all
She
can
said,
take that
we're
book.
gonna kill
Y'all
him.
can." She said, "Baby, you can take a lamp, a book. I don't care what you take, as long as I can kill somebody. That's all I need."
Yeah, so definitely have to give it to her.
MVP of this, I don't know. I gotta think about this. It was so much going on. Like everybody was really bringing it. I honestly, she's not my favorite character, but I actually might give Phoebe this one only because a lot of this stuff wouldn't have jumped off without her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I liked just seeing her like in that moment, like if I saw little Phoebe when I saw her really going after her dad like that, I saw a little girl really trying to reconnect with this horrible man
Mm-hmm.
and give him a chance. Like it was like no matter what he did, no matter what happened, Phoebe was willing to wipe the slate clean and try again.
Mm-hmm.
And easy. Like it was almost second nature for her. She wasn't
Mm-hmm.
really hardened like, Prue was for obvious reasons. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I love the
too think
dog. Real
I'm
quick, I
gonna give
love
it
the dog too. I give it to the dog.
yeah. The dog was pretty. Well, I'm gonna give it to Prue's plate of broccoli because listen,
I put a note about that broccoli, friend. I said that broccoli was dry as
I
hell.
have talked I have talked about that broccoli for years because Prudence Halliwell was eating 2 or 3 pounds of raw hot broccoli that she put in the microwave with no water in it to try to steam it or anything like that because she couldn't because it was just like huge stalks of just like raw broccoli. And when she poured it out on the plate, it literally like was like kerplunk. Like it made a sound. It hit the plate and it broke the plate. Like I want to slap her because I just don't understand. Thank God Andy came because I understand my girl needs good digestion, but come on. You got to do a little bit better than that. That oh,
The
Jesus.
note that I wrote, I said Prue would rather eat dry broccoli than Piper's leftovers.
She was so glad Piper went out that day.
She probably
Yo,
said,
and for all we know, that is Piper's leftovers.
Well, I mean, it could be. I promise you, that always bothers me because it's just raw broccoli. It's not it don't look it doesn't even look cooked. It still has that whiteness to it that uncooked broccoli has.
it's right
And
from the grocery store.
yeah, it's like it really seemed like someone went and got it from the store and then said, "Here, we don't have time to cook it for the scene. Just put it on a plate and just pretend like you're eating it." So she's just sitting up there with this raw hot broccoli. And I just oh God,
And it was
it
big as hell. Why was it not cut up a little bit smaller?
it was huge and she's
Dude,
so little. And it's like, what does she need all that broccoli for? Is my girl obstructed or something? Like, what is going on?
uh,
And my girl been so worried since Grams died. She ain't had a bowel movement and she having to eat 3 pounds of raw broccoli a day.
she needed her fiber.
You're not the free, please.
Like, my God in heaven. I mean, like, it's distracting. That's how much raw hot broccoli is on that plate. It was distracting. When
Yeah,
she
big
takes the
plate.
little lid off the thing and she like plops it on there, and then they have to keep getting new plates every time because it keeps breaking the plate. I'm like, why is this 20 something year old woman, this young, vital woman, just sitting here eating a plate of raw hot broccoli? Y'all could at least let the woman eat a piece of chicken and some broccoli and some mashed potatoes. What?
But they steam the broccoli, make it look a little softer, cut it up a little bit. Maybe have her eating a salad, something.
That's all they had to do.
Right.
That's it. That all they had to do was give her a salad. You are absolutely right. They could have opened up a bag. They didn't have to put no dress into it. They could have just said she
We
likes
could
it
have even
dry.
saw her make a salad. That would have worked.
Yes.
Just big ass pieces of broccoli. Huh. Just gonna eat this raw broccoli.
These big, huge chunks of raw broccoli. Okay, let me stop because I'm going to obsess over this and I need to let it go. I need therapy
No.
because mm-mm.
Because then we'll end up talking about that oatmeal she makes in a later episode, but we'll say that when we get to it.
So we really didn't see her eat a lot when you think about it.
Prue rarely ate.
Yeah.
I guess that's how she stays so small, child.
She's always in a sandwich. Well, she ordered a sandwich. Remember at work at Buckland, she ordered that sandwich.
Uh-huh.
And wasn't it like a turkey on white with some
With
some
no
mayo?
mayo.
No mayo.
Yeah.
My girl has horrible eating habits. My God. No wonder she's always so uptight. She hungry.
Yeah,
That
she
one
really
sandwich was
was. She really was eating like a model in the 90s.
I guess she said, I don't want Piper to ever know that I'm hungry because then she's going to want to cook. So if I just don't ever appear hungry, there'll be no food.
But I feel like Phoebe was always eating.
Always.
Oh, yes.
Phoebe loved
It's
her a
funny.
snack. She loved a snack.
It's funny because she was a vegetarian.
She sure was, wasn't she?
And then when they switched bodies and my girl had that Chinese food,
But like, but like, why would she even eat that? Like, you don't even eat meat.
she
I just
did.
want to know when Phoebe became a vegetarian because in my heart and my soul, I remember her eating some kind of protein at one point. Like I don't know. I think I'm making it up in my mind.
It was just random out of nowhere. She was a vegetarian.
Yeah,
But then I
yeah. I
could see
think
Phoebe being a vegetarian.
It,
Like she seems like she would be like she'd be like, I
it,
don't eat
it
stuff.
fits her. Like Piper screams red meat all the time. Phoebe screams. I actually could see Phoebe or Paige. I could see Paige being a vegan, actually.
Paige will be vegan. I feel
I
like
can see
Phoebe
that.
is definitely a vegetarian. Piper, I feel like Piper is the one that eats turkey all the time. Like turkey and like lean meats are her favorites to cook with. I don't know why, but that's what she gives me. I don't have a good reason as to why.
Oh, and I could definitely see Prue like being on a slim fast diet, just drinking her slim fast. She get that one turkey sandwich and then a
She got her
slim fast
broccoli.
for dinner.
Her,
Yeah.
her slim fast. She got her broccoli and she got her turkey sandwich, and
Turkey
that's it.
sandwich. Yep.
That turkey sandwich probably lasted her about 3 days. Not y'all saying my prudence is slim fast diet.
Either slim fast, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, one of them. Prue said she's not gonna be fat. Prue's not gonna be fat ever.
She said that is not gonna happen. She said, especially now that we gotta fight these demons. Mm-mm. She said, no, thank you.
I gotta be able to walk around with no bra on. I gotta be in shape.
Right.
And what's funny about that is I feel like she is kind of the one that doesn't gain the most weight over the course of the show. Like her tenure on the show. I feel like she does kind of like, but I don't know about that because she was super small. They were all super small in the beginning. Let me stop because this
Yeah.
might sound like I'm trying to like shame, and I'm not. I just in the context of what we're talking about.
Like
I,
and
Yeah.
I don't comment on women's bodies, but over time, Holly had some kids, so your body changes. Whereas Shannon, she was on the show for 3 seasons, and she really didn't change
mm,
much. She got like I don't even I wouldn't want to say it. It sounds like I'm talking about their bodies,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
Shannon didn't change a lot over her 3 years. I'll put it like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got what you're saying. I completely agree.
She
We'll move
hasn't really
on because I
changed
know
much
this
her
is.
whole career. She's kind of always been the same appearance wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. But even Holly, like before her pregnancy, like her body didn't change that much
Mm-mm.
because like even in season 5, like after she had Wyatt and she was back in the leather and like she
Upper
was
lip.
snatched when she was
I
going
feel
after the demons at the market and she was so snatched.
that is true. I think the thing about Holly is Holly was really, really tiny in the beginning. And I
Yeah.
think but I think the thing is like as the fashion started to change, that's
Uh-huh.
when like the curves started to be more like noticeable because
No,
everybody's pants in the 90s were like huge and they were
right.
really thick because of the denim and stuff. But then as time went on, they started to be made out of different materials and different stuff kind of more snug fitting pants became the norm, and I think that's when you could kind of see Holly actually had some thickness to her. Like my girl was
Yeah, because then Hell have no fury.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, she had that brown leather with the matching brown shirt. She had all
mm-hmm,
the curves on display.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like and then Alyssa I feel like got smaller. Like I feel like as time kind of went on, but it also looked like she got shorter, which was interesting because I never felt like she was super tall, but when I look at like height wise, when I look at Alyssa in this episode versus Alyssa in like a season 6 episode, and maybe it's the haircut, she just looked
It, it-
shorter later on. Like she
you
looked
know,
like
She's
I
shrinking.
think it's the combination of the hair because like she really did kind of have like bigger hair like in the first few seasons and later she kind of wore like of course there was the pixie cut and then she kind of wore like flatter and then also
mm,
when when Paige came in, standing
Yeah.
next to her made her look shorter.
That is a very, very good point, because when it was the original three, they all pretty much were the same height. And then when
Yeah.
Rose comes in, she didn't tower above them, but she was definitely taller than them. It was noticeable. So that makes sense. That makes sense why she seems shorter in the later seasons. Okay.
It
Okay.
made Piper and Phoebe look much shorter than I think they ever looked to me before.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like pocket size sometimes.
Yeah.
There was definitely time, and I always laugh because I think I'm making this up, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch The Power of Three Blondes, but I still remember that scene on the stairs when they're talking to Chris when he comes to P3 to try to get them to go, after the demon and whatever that may or may not be after the book, and I swear to God, Holly and Alyssa are like switching heights. Like when you look at them face on, I think like Alyssa looks like she's a little bit taller than Holly because she's like maybe a stepping on a stair that's like above her. But then like when you see them from the back, they look the same height. And then like from another angle, Holly looked taller. And I don't know. I think that could very well just be my brain being like, no, baby, we just trying to see what we're trying to see. But I remember that specifically because I remember being like, wait, aren't they the same height? And then they weren't, and then they were, and I was like, what are we doing here?
Because I know a lot of shows they do that, and people don't realize that they're actually doing it. So it could probably actually be going on. I have to go back and watch. I never
Mm-hmm.
really looked at them like that. So when you put them next to each other, is Holly slightly taller than Alyssa, or is she slightly shorter?
Slightly shorter.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm. But then sometimes they would kind of be like the same height as Rose. So I couldn't figure that out. Like, or Rose will be the same height as them. Like when they're saying spells together, like I think about when they were trying to call for their powers from the source. And like I think it's because they're all bent slightly, like the camera is looking up as opposed to looking directly at them, and they're kind of like looking down, looking at the book, and they all look the same height. But then when they stand up straight, after the source comes in, you can tell she's taller than the two of them. I don't know. I think I'm
Yeah.
making stuff up.
Yes. Yeah, she probably bent over a little more to kind of be like their height.
So overall, we think this was a successful episode.
Yes. Oh, we have to mention the ring though.
Oh
The
God, that weird chameleon-eyed ring. Mm-hmm.
that never came back up again.
And Prue seemed like she was affected by it. When she saw it, she was like, man, woman, husband, wife. And where did you say you got this from? And like she was grilling him because she knew it was clear she knew what the ring was, but I was like, why? Yes,
Yeah, and where did he get it from?
right. Because it almost seemed like, or not almost, but they kind of made it seem like it was a wedding gift from Patty, like it was supposed to be some kind of magical protection or something.
Right.
Never heard
Because I'm
about it
like,
again.
hmm.
And then we never heard about it or saw it again.
She should have kept it for herself.
I
Yeah.
the way she when she twisted up her neck to give him that ring, I'm sorry, but look like my girl was having a stroke.
Listen, Prudence, when
And,
she okay,
and when she threw him, the way she looked at him when she threw him back, I'm just like, okay, they've got to find a better way to get her to use her powers because it looks like she's actually having like a medical emergency each time.
well, I was confused on whether she threw him on purpose or not because I think in the beginning they were still kind of you getting used to how she would channel the power, but what I got
Yeah.
from that moment was that she didn't actually intentionally throw him. It was like she still wasn't fully in control of the power and she got really emotional and she threw him back and he somehow went through
Yeah.
that chair.
I mean, because I don't think she meant to throw him that hard because she threw him hard as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
It didn't even call, in my opinion, it didn't even call for him to be thrown that hard.
No one can hurt us as much as you.
As you have, and then this man just goes on, and then but he was. he made me very uncomfortable because like the way he was still reaching out to her and his facial expression never changed. I was like, ew. And then when he got up and he was like breathing like he had just run a marathon, I'm like, sir, I'm in the history of that show, I don't remember anyone getting thrown and then breathing like that.
She threw you in slow motion. You didn't even go that fast.
It took you 15 minutes to get 20 feet away. So what are we breathing for? What's going on?
He was just being dramatic.
Which is weird. Exactly.
He
Exactly.
was
And
trying
then
to gaslight them.
Piper said, "Did you throw him so hard?"
Did you have to throw him so hard?
You look like BITCH. I'll fling you with him. Keep playing with me.
Okay.
I mean,
No.
like, but like this man just told y'all that y'all gonna die together, so she did throw him hard enough.
But you know what I noticed about that scene is when Phoebe got mad, she was kind of like, girl, anyway. But when Piper got mad at her, she seemed like it really hurt her. Like she was shocked. Like she was like, Piper, it's you supposed to be on my side. Like Phoebe, she kind of already knew Piper. Well, Phoebe was gonna be upset, but it seemed like it really caught her off guard that Piper was upset with her.
Yeah,
She
I think that
wanted Piper to feel the way she felt because Piper, you were there for some of this. Why aren't you angry like I am? Why don't you hate him like
right.
I am? And that's
Mm-hmm.
just not who Piper is.
Mm-hmm. And then when they were this is again very unrelated, but when they were sitting there the next day, the next morning, eating breakfast, and like they were pushing these dry looking eggs, and what I had to like pause it and see that it was bacon, I was like, girl, what? And then it was something else on the plate that I couldn't identify, and I think it was supposed to be potatoes or something. I was like, what are we doing? But see, that's what I miss about like the first like 4 seasons specifically. They would just eat breakfast. Like we were sitting there with them while they eating breakfast. They be eating Special K. They be eating eggs and toast and fruit,
Or
like
bagels or
Right.
something.
Oh yeah,
bagels.
yeah. And Phoebe got mad at Leo for eating her cereal.
Mm-hmm.
My girl's about to go off over that cereal.
Yeah, he was gonna have to find him another home.
Listen, she said you've been homeless for the past 60 years. You can do it again.
Like Prue didn't buy her the cereal.
I was gonna say you ain't working. You ain't working either. So obviously, Prue was the one who should have an attitude here.
I feel like Phoebe got food stamps.
What?
I do. I don't know why. I don't have a reason. I just feel like Phoebe found some kind of way to get food stamps. Like I feel like she told them she didn't have an income or she was doing something on the side. So she kind of like had enough income to whatever, but it wasn't significant enough for them to put it in the show. And so
Because
Phoebe was,
how was
you
she
know,
paying to go to
You know,
school? She wasn't working. Who was
I
paying her tuition? Prue?
I'm assuming student loans. That's my assumption.
I guess. I just wanted to say that she
yeah.
I
was not
know.
working.
Baby, Phoebe was getting, come on, welfare queen. Listen, I don't know. In my mind, in my heart, in my soul, when she said her cereal, I said, oh, okay. The EBT hit, and she had to go on ahead. She don't, she don't get them next benefits until next month, and you done ate up all her cereal. Okay, all right. Now she got to fight you.
Really wish they would have went back to is hearing about Prue playing the piano as a kid. I would have loved to have seen her do that as an adult at some point.
Yeah.
And you would think that that would have been her passion instead of being a photographer, but I guess they couldn't work piano work in as a career. So because Prue looked mighty young to be having a recital.
Actually, she must have been really great.
Right.
She
She could have been
might have
like
been
a
a prodigy.
prodigy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like, how is my girl sitting up here playing the piano, and then we ain't heard nothing else about it? And then what was okay? I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna shut up. I promise. When he showed it, and he was like, "I took the picture. It's a horrible one. My fault." And I'm like, why are we delivering the lines like this? But then when he's like, "See, here in the corner, that's your mother," and Prue's like, "I never noticed that before," and you can tell she still wants to be mad, but she's like, "Oh, I didn't notice that before. She's in the picture," and I'm like, You didn't notice the side of your mama's head. Like you didn't notice what I don't know. I don't know. It
Oh,
just
well, well, she probably thought it was Phoebe since that's who played her in the video.
and they killed me trying to be like coy and cute with it and like keep Alyssa's face out of it. But then sometimes, Alyssa just extra, and she threw that face up real quick in that video. She said, "No, baby, you gonna see this is me."
Right, right, because I'm gonna get a little extra for this episode.
Now she getting paid twice.
She got to buy more cereal.
Okay, she got to save up. She got to put some coins back. I was tickled because like every time Patty would come back and she'll say one of the girls' names, I always think about when she comes back in season 5 and she's like, Piper. When Piper's in the water. And she's like, Piper. And then and then when she came to Prue and she was like, Prue.
Shut up.
Because it's two different actresses, but it's so funny that neither one of them say the daughter's name. She's like, Prue. Piper. And I'm like, Finola, you said Piper before. We've heard you say Piper. Why are you saying Piper?
Oh,
That tickles me every single time I think about it.
Every
And
now
all
and
I
then,
could
the accent
imagine,
would jump out. Every now and then, you could hear the accent.
yeah.
I'd get so tickled when she said vanquish the demon.
Oh, that's gonna be a fun episode.
Oh, it
Uh,
is.
Katrina Braxton would jump out every now and then.
Gib. When Trina would say Gib, she'd be like, Gib, get it. I'm like, why are we Canadian? What is going on? What's going on? But I feel like if Alyssa had been allowed to speak, she would have said their names really weird because she would have been like, I got to make my mark. I want them to, like, she would have been like, Patty is actually Phoebe's doppelganger. Like, she would have been that kind of person.
Yeah.
Talk about when they would get ready to see their dad the next day. What did Phoebe have on? Where was she going?
I don't know what Tabitha was going.
I put a note and I was like, Prue said, he said casual. She looked like, I don't know where she thought she was going, but that was not to lunch with your dad.
Well, Phoebe had she probably found it at the Goodwill, at
Okay.
like like the reject pile that they was getting ready to
Mhm.
throw away.
Okay.
It is fun to think about the fact that like this version of Phoebe did just get back from New York and she doesn't have anything. Like she genuinely does not have anything. She is a broke young woman who can see the future and that's it.
Yeah, and it's funny, we'll probably talk about it more in the Dream Sorcerer episode,
Mhm.
like when they visit Prue in the hospital, like Phoebe is wearing Piper's clothes, like she's dressed like Piper.
Which I think is a really cool continuity thing. Like
Yeah,
we know she's not working, so I'm liking that they're keeping
and,
that accurate.
Mhm.
yeah, and like she always mentions about Bara, especially like Prue's clothes, and we see like as Prue and Piper's fashion like evolves, so does Phoebe's
Mhm.
For a
because
Mhm.
minute,
she's getting her clothes.
for a
She could
minute, I
finally
would
get her
say
own taste.
for a good little minute, she was the best dressed, and then I think at some point Paige became that fashion girl for me.
Oh, she did. Oh,
She
Paige
was
started eating
turning
them up.
looks, but for a while Phoebe was eating. I'm not gonna lie to you, she was putting them together because Prue went from like a librarian to like a school nurse to then like just no bra ever.
Yeah,
Not the
leather
school
all the
nurse.
time.
Piper went from like gauchos and sweater sets to just denim jeans and boots everywhere. But Phoebe actually had fun with clothes, which I like to see.
And it's funny, it's the two with no jobs that would dress the best to go nowhere.
The gaucho and the sweater set.
I'm like, I'm so glad that Piper they stopped dressing her like a PTA mom in the season 1. She looked like she was running down to the school to get her kid from the nurse's office at least twice a week.
Yeah, with that bang. That
Put that
bang.
Lord the bang.
Oh God in heaven.
Ugh.
Oh Lord. I'm done.
Can you please?
I'm done. I am just y'all done took me out. I can't do this anymore. I can't. I can't.
Oh, this is the series finale
This is
of
the
the
series finale.
podcast.
This is the last episode, y'all. This is our last hurrah. I promised Laurel I wouldn't cry.
Good night. Good night. But you see it though. You see what I'm talking about. You see it.
I do. I do, which is why I was always very shocked that she would want to wear Prue's clothes because Prue always dressed like she took being quiet in the library very seriously. She always
Right,
she always dressed like the rules were her top priority. She
right.
dressed the
Very
way Natalie,
conservative.
like yes, like if she had become a white lighter in that season, her and Natalie would have been best friends, and nobody can convince me otherwise. And I was very shocked that Phoebe would want to wear her clothes because it's not like Prue was ever just. But then I feel like there would be random times where like they get ready for a party or something. Prue would be looking good.
Yeah,
She wore when she caught Cole upstairs in the cage. That dress, she was eating in that dress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the
Mm-hmm.
third season they let her. I guess they probably knew she was on her way out of here. She started looking really cool and like different looks throughout the
yeah,
show. Like she was
Mm-hmm.
playing with it more.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because she wasn't
Mm-hmm.
going to work. So
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Like even her last episode, she was like she had like the midriff and had the little see through thing over it.
Mm-hmm. And then that hot leather jacket over that.
Jacket.
wasn't it hot outside?
It had to be in, but then Piper was wearing a blazer, so I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what the weather was like. I don't know.
And I think
I was
and
very
I think
confused.
I think Phoebe was wearing a jacket too.
Phoebe had on
But
that big heavy denim jacket. She sure
but I
did.
will say San Francisco, like the weather is a little milder.
That's what I was always
That's for
curious
all
about
three seasons.
because
I think it start out cool and then it's hot and then it's cold again.
see, y'all know I'm from Bumtuck, Louisiana. And so I always thought that California was perpetually hot. I always thought that California was just perpetually like 90 degrees. And so
Yeah.
I would be so confused because I'm like, why are they wearing jackets? Like when they went to go hunt down Balthazar and whatnot. I remember Prue had on this like, oh God, I love that coat. And I don't remember what it's called, like a parka or something. I don't know. But it was like tan and then it had the white like cotton fur on the inside or whatever.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking like that jacket is so cute, but I promise you, I feel like it's like probably burning her up because I'm thinking like, isn't it like 100 degrees in California? And then Piper would wear gloves like the
Yeah.
episode with Abby where she froze the bullet and she has on leather gloves. I'm like, girl, is it that cold?
It's usually, I
Yeah.
mean, when I was out there, it's usually like in the mid 70s most of the time.
Yeah.
So
Especially like in Southern California. It's behind which is where they shot the episode, so they probably was hot.
Yeah. And then, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all this, and this is not a dig at myself or anything like that. So I hope that no one takes this as such, and I do not speak for the plus size community. I always felt like because I am a bigger person, I'm very hot nature anyway, like just as a person myself, but I always felt like do normal weight people get cold easy? And that's why they're wearing this because like I don't know. I just felt like maybe because I'm fat, that's why I thought I'd be hot.
maybe I don't know about that, but maybe also where you're from. Like you're not where you're from. I don't know what the weather pattern is there usually, but I have to imagine that you know it's hot as balls there when it's hot, like really hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know, like, what is your cooler climate like? Is it still relatively warm there?
It can get down to like the 30s or the 20s when it's at its like absolute worst. It can get down to
Okay.
its like teens and 20s, but typically your coolest on a regular day, during like even the winter is probably gonna get down to maybe like the 40s, maybe the 30s, something like that. But like right now, probably the lowest we'll get is in like the 60s. But then it gets up to like 92 during the day.
Yeah, and you also have to factor in the humidity. Like
Yeah.
like here is very humid, so it's very easy to like sweat and feel hot and
Mm-hmm.
suffocated. I don't know
Yeah.
how the humidity is in like San Francisco or even LA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out there
Mm-hmm.
in the summer. I was in San Diego in like the late summer, and it was warm, but it never really like it never got above 80 degrees. And it was never really humid. It does get super cool like at nighttime. So like I could see the jackets and stuff like after 5 or 6. But I'm just like, I know it can't be cool enough for that jacket that my girl Prue had on in the middle of the day. It just can't be.
Yeah,
Right.
I did the crackhead a little bit.
like when they was going after the pawnbroker who killed Trevon's daughter,
Mm-hmm.
they was they was dressed up like they was about to go to Antarctica or the North Pole.
Well, and it's just like when in season 7, when they went down there to attack the I was gonna say the attack the Titans to attack the avatars. I mean, as good as Phoebe looked, my God. Phoebe
Mm-hmm.
had on like this long Inspector Gadget coat, and then Piper is over there like bundled up like it's Christmas Eve. And
Like, like did the avatars like turn up the air because like they had those all the black clothing with the black like with the
right.
black trench. I guess they had to turn up the air so they went
Like
so they wouldn't fall out.
I remember thinking like as good as they look, they've got to be hot. There's no way that they are that cold. There's no way.
Phoebe and Paige looked so good in that scene. Oh my
Oh
God.
yes. Yeah.
Both of
Piper
them.
kind of
They
looked
ate
like the
that up.
mom.
Piper
Piper
looked
looked
like she
like
was
the mom
again.
who's there to take care of the kids while they do what they need to do. But I'm also gonna
Uh,
blow some people up.
Listen, I got
Phoebe and
snacks.
Paige
I
are
got snacks in my bag. I got Pampers. What y'all got? You want wipes? I got those back here too.
they they dressed they dressed Piper so terrible in season 7 and 8.
yeah. I don't know what the point was of that.
Yeah,
She
and I know she got pregnant and and like after that, but like you could still dress her nicely.
yeah, because I felt like season 6 when she was pregnant, I felt like she looked nice.
Yes,
Even
when
when
they
she
would.
was wearing like maybe like Family Dollar clothes, I felt like she still looked nice.
It was put
Yeah,
together.
'cause-
The scenes were put together nice.
yeah, because like
Mm-hmm.
when they was still like covering up her pregnancy, like when they first introduced Magic School and like she was layered,
Mm-hmm.
like there was a good look for her, like just like a good casual look. But
I am
then
going to
they,
tell you the one look of hers that I 100% hate, and no one can ever change my mind. And yes, I am digging my heels into the earth with that one. That look when Phoebe and Paige told her that she was pregnant with Chris, and her hair looked like she was finna go back to like the 1930s to go fight Lillian over
oh
Leo, and
yeah,
she was gonna
I
be like,
hated it.
I'm in the money. And then like that ugly, and then like that ugly
Because
outfit that she had on. Oh, I was like, no, no.
God, I can't
you
stand
know
you.
what? She looked like she already knew she was pregnant.
Yeah, yeah. And I get that they were dressing, they had to like kind of dress her a certain way, but I was like, if I walked into a room and I saw her looking like that, I'd be like, girl, just put me up for adoption.
I would just
Just
walk out.
give me to
I'd
somebody
walk
else.
out.
Give me to Daryl. Give me to Daryl. I don't want to be here.
It,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's,
a look I'll just say a look I hated and unfortunately had to see it all the time was the one what she wore to Chris Wickening. It was like that red top and I think she had like on some jeans
Oh
and
yeah.
it ended up in the opening credits.
Well, and then she had those earrings on, and it just
No,
looked.
yeah,
Ugh. And
like
to be
every
fair, she wasn't exactly dressed to impress at Wyatt's Wickening, but it was appropriate.
yeah. Maybe individually, maybe the pieces would work, but everything clashed with each other.
Hated the
Baby, I
look
don't know.
they had on when they came back from faking their deaths and they went into what is his office? Can't think of the name.
Uh,
Agent
I
Murphy.
know.
And they cut off the
Yeah,
elevator like they were doing something and they panned up and I'm like, this is what y'all have on?
And everyone was dressed for like a different season. Like Piper was dressed for autumn, and then Phoebe was dressed for summer, and Paige looked like it's springtime, and her class are getting ready to decorate the room. Like it was. I didn't understand what there was no solidarity. Y'all are supposed to be a unit, and are y'all representing the seasons? I'm not understanding what's going on.
Pepper had on she had like a blazer on and like some heels and some boot and some jeans.
And then Phoebe had on like this sleeveless spaghetti strap top with this beach bum dress with this beach bum skirt on. And Paige literally looked like a sexy librarian. She looked like she was about to tell somebody, you can either be quiet or slip me in the back. Like it was just mm-mm.
uh,
Don't you just surprise them?
Because we don't like surprises. What are you
I can also
doing?
get
Your
the
bounty's
death.
outside. I love
the
that scene.
fashions of charm.
And
I
then
think
Piper.
towards the end they just although I did really like Phoebe's hair the last season. I really
Yes.
liked her. She looked so
Yes.
good. And I also really liked the dark hair on Paige too. They were
Yeah.
eating it. Those two girls
Listen,
ate that last season. Visually, they ate it up.
Uh,
when Paige Latanya Matthews would have that dark hair and that red lip, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
oh
Listen,
yes.
listen, unmatched, unmatched. She was eating everyone alive. And then sometimes I'd be like, ma'am, we need to figure out something to do with this hair, don't we?
Something.
Oh, and as much as I love Phoebe's pixie cut, when she was growing it out, there was a
Oh,
rough period
yeah.
in her life. I
Yeah.
I don't know why she just didn't keep the pixie cut like the whole season and just start growing it out like either on hiatus and then if it wasn't long enough when the new season started, just slap on a wig until it was.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause the last half of season 6, it was rough. And then
Yeah.
she would try to do those little curls and it was just a mess.
And then season 7, she had the audacity to start trying to do little pigtails. And I'm like, girl, come on.
Nothing like a little bun with a little bang, please. You look crazy.
Like
Yeah.
I love my girl down, but I just wanted her to stop. I'm like, just go back home, go to sleep.
I wish they would have played with Piper's hair more.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciated the fact though that she kept it one particular way. Cause it was like, listen, I'm not gonna do all this jumping around. I'm not gonna be like them. I'm not gonna this and that and da da da. Do you like my hair with a few highlights in it? Okay, because that's all you're gonna get for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Good. And the one with her reunion, she looked really good with her hair crinkled like that. She was killing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They
Yeah.
I'm
all
with
pretty
her.
much killed crinkled hair though, because I remember in Reckless Abandon, I loved Prue's hair. I loved her hair that episode when she had those
Oh yeah.
crinkles. It
Mhm.
was or crimps or whatever it was. It
Mhm.
was so cute. I was like, oh my God. Her hair
And then
there
they
and then
pull,
Phoebe's hair and Brain Drain. Oh yes. Yep.
and then they pull like the hair up off of out of their face, especially with like Shannon and with Alyssa. When they pull the hair up and you actually get to get a look at their face, it makes them just look even more stunning to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we can't not ever not talk about your girl with that red hair.
Oh yeah.
To me,
Don't get me started
she really
because
did just chew that up in a way that I don't think we appreciate enough.
And the
yes.
fact that they got mad at her for doing it.
Which is just crazy to me. Like how you could look at that lady's hair and you could see how good she looked with that red. Oh my god. I love the strawberry blonde a little bit better. That was my favorite version of it. But when she went that deep red, oh my god.
But she
Sweet
pulled it off.
merciful alive. She
And
did.
and with her skin tone, I wasn't sure, but she pulled it off in a way where it made her to me make her look a little less pale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they started
Mm-hmm.
pairing the red hair with like some really cool outfits, and it was just looking
Yeah.
good.
Yep. Yep. And one of her favorite looks of mine was, for me, it was such a simple moment, but in the eyes have it when she goes to go see the gypsy. I don't think gypsy is the proper term anymore. The
Yeah.
lady, when she goes to go see the lady that Phoebe went to go see, she's like, I'm sorry to tell you, sweetie, but she's gone. And I just remember she had on, like, it was just some jeans and it was a cute little top. And I just remember like her hair being straight and she looked so good. Like she looked so good. And I just remember like
Yeah.
I just remember being like, she's just going down the street. And this woman is up here eating like this. Okay.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like her and Phoebe, like when they had no jobs, they would be dressed to the nines to just walk around the house.
Look at them on boots, like leather boots, just walking around the house. You ain't even going nowhere.
Exactly.
That episode where when they lost their senses and Piper Loki blew her up, she was eating that episode.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my sweet God, yes. That outfit was so cute. Oh, it was so cute. That tan and then those pinstripes. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes,
Mhm.
ma'am. And then I love, okay, okay. So in Sam I Am, she has on probably my favorite top of hers of the entire series. That black top, and I think it had like white trim to it. And it was just so clean and so just like it looked perfect on her. Like it looked perfect. If her hair, her lip, like all of it, she looked so good. And then you get down to those pants and the pants are cute, but the pants to me, I guess because I'm not like a big like, you know, fashion person. And so like I know you can, mix different fabrics and patterns and whatever, but the pants threw it all the way off. Like if you had just looked at her from the top up, you'll be like, this woman is perfect. And then you get down to the bottoms and it's like everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's so creative.
I
Because that was probably my very favorite top that she has ever worn. I'd have to think about a look, but as far as a top, that was like it the pinnacle. That was just the height of like how good she could look in a top for me.
there's so many that stand out for bad reasons. So I'm trying to think of like looks that I really, really, really enjoy. There's a top that Paige wore once. It's like a white lace kind of top, and she had like the dark hair, and it was kind of pulled up to the side a little bit. I don't know what episode that was, but she ate that look up to me. They always
Oh,
compare.
I know which one you're talking about. That was either season 7 or season 8. I know which one you're talking about. Yep, yep,
They
yep,
usually
yep.
post it like with Prue in the same like white top kind of. She ate that look up too.
Mm-hmm. 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 Oh God, their fashions were just everything most of the time. Because when Phoebe wore those doubloomers, I wanted to push her out the window. I was like, listen, if Devlin doesn't get to her, I will because there's no way.
Think about the wedding dress that she had on when Billy made her marry what's his face.
Dicks.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
actually thought she looked real. I thought the dress was cute.
that
Or
dress was 10 times better than what Paige walked down the aisle in.
I don't even know. I guess they just said just throw on anything.
They said, "Here, take this. Put this on."
Just going out there because she looked good. She ate in that wedding dress. She ate that. I didn't care
Mm-hmm.
for the shoes though, but the dress was cute.
Yeah, it
And then her
was.
hair. Oh my God, her hair was so fluffy and big and cute. It just, ugh.
That just made me think of those mini bangs in season 4 when she was married to Cole.
Please don't.
That's gonna have to be his own episode.
No, it will. No, it will. Because
Not
I
the
could roast
banging.
her. I could roast that woman from here to eternity. Okay, I understand why when old Phoebe came back, she was breeding her like a dog because she deserved it. Because she took one look at those bangs and she said, "This is the era of my life where I hated myself." And I understand why, because I hated her too. Because there's no way that Alyssa walked out of her house and said, "You know what? These are cute." Because you know what? Sarah tried it too on Buffy. Sarah tried it with them bangs. But it another episode, another day. So y'all, okay, all right. So now that we have, I feel like sufficiently covered the episode.
Oh, well, I guess we should rank our villains before we move on.
I was
The,
gonna say, like, if I have to rank them, if I have to rank the three villains from the episodes that we have seen so far, me personally, I think I'm gonna say Jeremy, Javna, and then the shapeshifters because Jeremy had a plan. Jeremy
yes,
had he almost executed it. He had a very specific reason for what he was doing. Everything was very intentional. He, just had to run across, San Francisco in his loafers. But other than that, Jeremy tried. He did give it a shot.
and he did kill
Job
some people.
and he did. He did kill some witches and he got their powers and whatever else. I was here for it. He did a good job. He got what he needed. And then Javna, I feel like because he was so focused on like himself, I don't feel like he was doing
Yeah,
horrible. He was just kind of like sloppy.
but
Eh,
you know what? But he had a good gimmick. The whole draining, people's youth to keep himself young. That was kind of cool.
that's true. That is true. And I'm
So
sorry,
it's
the shapeshifters come last. They,
yeah,
I just, mm-mm.
We have the same exact. My list would be identical to yours for the same exact reasons. I think between the thrice of them, Jeremy probably came the closest
Mm-hmm.
and executed
yeah,
his plan. Like he actually had a plan that was not well thought out, but thought out.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
These
Mm-hmm.
last three, these little shapeshifters, I don't to this day, I still don't know if they knew what they were really doing or why
Well,
they
It
were
what
don't
you,
doing
feel like they did.
the girl was just there to kill people. I don't even know if she knew there was a plan.
She did not
You
care.
know what? I might rank her a little higher by
Well,
herself.
you know what? If it
Right.
was just her, she would be top of the list if it was just her. But because but since she's with her brother, she has to go down.
I don't care
I'm
nobody got
tempted,
you. I'm just here to kill.
yeah, I'm tempted to put Victor on there, but
I mean,
it's,
quiet as it's kept.
Yeah.
but since it's a little unclear, we'll keep him off. But once he come back and try to use Phoebe, he might have to be on that list.
Yeah, he may have to go right on ahead and be
Maybe
number
we should come
one
up with like
because
a villain list, a demon list, and then like you know how they do like not villains but anti-heroes. Maybe people that aren't really villains, but they also don't fit into like the good column either. Because Victor
mhm.
belongs on some kind of shitty list.
Sometimes,
He
yeah.
did. He absolutely did.
You know what? I'm gonna put him on. What should we put him?
Who, Victor?
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
he has to go above the shapeshifters because
I honestly put him in number two. I put him above Job now because he had a plan as well that was specific to them, and he
yeah.
seemed like he really didn't care how he achieved it as long as he did. So, low key, I'd give him number two.
That's fine. I'm gonna put Victor Halliwell on there because that's where he's listed at in the credits for that episode.
Oh yeah, I forgot this is before they decided that Patty just kept her last name.
And then they switched the actor. So for our means list, we have number one Jeremy, number two Victor Halliwell, number three Javna, and number four the Shapeshifters.
Yep, I'm here for it. That's our list.
Yep, and
Is
we'll keep updating it every week.
Exactly. I can't wait to see who. I can't wait to see who like rises to the top. Cause the Grimlocks. I'm ready for them. Cause we.
Yeah, and we can do it like, season by season, and then like at the end we can do like a top 20 of the series or something like that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, Hakati is not gonna be at the top of the list because she she was horrible.
Yeah. Oh, and
The
what
Seer is going
what's
to be
this?
high on my list. The Seer is going to be up there, probably in my top 10.
Oh,
Mhm.
the Sea is probably going to be number one for season four.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
When
Yeah.
she
What do you?
taunted
For
them
me, in
real
terms
quick
of
and said,
female
"You kind."
demons, I feel like the Seer is it in terms of the pinnacle for the female adversaries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think.
Absolutely.
What's old girl? I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of nobody's name. The one that Tawatha. What about her?
Oh, you know Tawatha is gonna be at the top of the list. Baby, listen, them titties pushed up like that. Oh yeah, Miss Mims is gonna be right at the top of the list real quick. She was like, "Girl, ain't nobody scared of
Where
no charmed ones."
where's my wand?
She was
She was like,
then when Proof flung her real quick, I got a little turned on, and I'm like, but wait, now Tawatha is not really the one to play with though, at all. She's not afraid of Prue. She ain't afraid of none of y'all hoes.
"None. You just caught off
She,
guard. That's all that was. You just so happened to catch off guard, baby. Trust me, it shan't happen again."
Now,
right.
side note, Prue did look really good when she threw her. She was eating in that scene too.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
she
did.
did.
It was,
Mm-hmm.
and it was something work appropriate, barely, but because if one more button was unbuttoned, then they're gonna have to send her home.
It was about to be Janet Jackson Super Bowl, right down there at Buckland.
Right.
I'm trying to think who else. I mean, I can't wait to talk about Zanku. Y'all know I love Zanku, and I love
Oh,
Marcus. Those are two of my favorites. Gideon also is going to be high on the list,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Mostly because he tried
And
to take that little rugrat out.
and like his plan, he was so devious about it that like we don't really unpack how traumatic Gideon actually was to Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and as much as Zanku would be very high on the list, I have a feeling that the Avatar is gonna be kind of low because
Yeah.
they wasted half a season.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to rank the elders also as villains, and
Oh yeah, they definitely gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
they're
Top of the
they're
line.
a big part
Well,
of the problem.
we all already know number one for the entire series for me is the Stillmans
Them
because
sisters, I already was about
listen,
to say them.
I think for me, it might be it's between Barbas, Zanku. Um, I want to give the source more credit, but honestly, he kind of pales in comparison to some of these other demons.
But
I
you know
feel
what?
like sorry.
I'll just say I had to give him a lot of credit because Zanku basically took his playbook and executed it.
Yeah, I would vote Zanku over the source. Oh, the source did accomplish some stuff, but in the end, Zanku really broke them down in a way that nobody else had ever done.
Yeah, and that's what will probably put him above the source. But he really,
Yeah.
yeah, he took what the source did and took it to a new level.
I think where they messed the source up was when they made him like hungry to win. Like he stopped being this person, this demon who had like a plan to go after the charmed ones, and he was, going through steps and phases, and all of a sudden he's just like, I need to win, I gotta win, win, win. And he's stealing their powers and taking out the like he had a good plan, but the plan came from desperation and
Yeah,
he wasn't really expecting that the seer would step in because he thought he was above, like I made this decision. This is how it's gonna be, and Concretia is just gonna have to be okay with it.
yeah, because like, why did he need all three of their powers?
He
He's the
didn't.
source of all
He
evil,
didn't.
and like, why did he have to go up against them alone? You have an army.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then like he could have gotten a dark lighter. He could have gotten multiple dark lighters to take Leo out because I swear to God, Leo hangs on like nobody's business. Like Leo may not be good at nothing else, but he is good at hanging on to life because my God in heaven, that man, I almost called him something, stayed on that couch and he said, listen, I might bleed out, but I'm still gonna be here and collect this check.
Right. And also, he sends a dark letter after Leo, and Paige is right there, like, go after her too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
she was literally right there. Why not
I
try
just
to take her out too?
thank you. It just made no sense. And then when he did get up there, like if he had the kind of power that he could like snatch Paige's face and throw her across the room, you would think that he would have just like snapped her neck. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been like, let me throw you across the room so that I can taunt your sister and very slowly throw a fireball. No, just take her out. And in that way your threat is neutralized right there. And the rest of it is just for garnish.
Yeah, yeah.
That's about the fact that Piper should have been dead from hitting that wall.
Oh yeah, because she went
She
Listen,
should
through
have
that
been
wall.
dead, like just
mhm,
gone. She should not have been able to be carried upstairs.
mm-mm, ain't no way. Ain't
Cause she
no
put,
way.
cause she put a hole through that wall.
She sure did.
I
Her
mean,
whole
the
face
house
was
moved
just
a little bit.
torn up.
Like she was basically under the stairs.
Not Harry Potter.
Yeah, they had to dig her out from the cupboard.
And it pissed me off when they brought him back later on for that like half a episode. Like you could have just left him where he was. If that's all you're gonna bring him back to do and then kill him, I felt like he deserved to be another arc for a couple of episodes at least. Same thing with the triad. They brought these things back, and it was kind of like, eh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
no point in it.
It would have been nice to see the triad and the source like interact because like
Oh,
they're
that would
supposed
have
to
been
be
and then
like,
like them trying to like lobby for power over the other, like the source
uh,
reminding them that, y'all work for me, and then them trying
yeah,
to
cause
tell
that's
like we're a
yeah, cause that,
governing body and we don't take orders from you. Like, oh yeah.
yeah, cause like they're supposed to be like his generals, but like
Mm-hmm.
then like they have like their own little plans, so that would have been interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, that would have been so fun. I wish they had done that now. I'm sad.
You know who else is gonna be high on the list? The Crone. I forgot about her.
Oh yeah. Anytime
Oh
she
yes,
was so powerful and so influential that she put out a law that nobody was to touch Wyatt, and they didn't.
right.
I would have loved to have seen Prue as an auntie go after the Crone. Now that would have given me so much satisfaction because she would have effed the Crone up.
You know what's okay, okay, okay. I almost feel like I do like the fact that Piper was the one that led the charge on that one because that's her baby. And I kind of feel like that would have been one of the first times that Prue, and I think this is a good thing for the story, but I think that probably would have been one of the first times where Prue tried to take the lead, but Piper was like, we don't have time to be dealing with this and that and trying to be diplomatic and would go in with plans of attack. Like I could see Prue trying to go in head first and Piper be like, baby, listen, if you're gonna do it, do it. And this is how you do it. And we still get that same
Mhm.
scene. And
That'd have
Prue
been
trying to be like, no, I can do it. And Piper be like, look, we got to get home to my baby. Let's go. I ain't got time for you to tell me that you could have. Let's go. Like that same way, I would have loved to see that with Prue there. Cause
beauty.
now they are definitely moving into different areas of life. And Prue is
Mhm.
realizing like her maternal instinct is stronger than the one that I have for them.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been nice to see Prue struggling with that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like in the beginning she would have tried to take over and just been the one, and it's like, well, you're the auntie, I'm the
Mm-hmm.
mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because Paige, my girl, she went to the market and she tried to help. It didn't help.
It didn't. It didn't. And
Did not.
I don't know what made my girl decide to do that. I don't know what made her decide, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put this dress on. What about that screamed demon to her? I don't know.
A dress that she could barely walk in.
Yes. And then I'm gonna say this and we can move on. I've never understood Lover Down why she would call for that fireball with orbs. Like, girl, this is not the time for you to be using your power like that. Like, we
Right.
can see that it's clearly surrounded by white orbs.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we know what white lighters are.
And like, and it's clear to everyone that she stole her from another demon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then she looked at that demon one mad because she was like, hey. And then she just did another fireball. And I'm like, that's it?
They not your girl, so move out.
They did. Oh my God.
Her
They
laid
knocked my
up.
girl out her wig. They literally knocked my girl's wig off. I said, oh my God.
Piper was pissed.
Like, oh, I have to leave this house. I have to do
Also, I feel
something.
like during that scene when they were trying to convince Piper to go after the demons, I might have liked seeing Prue trying to be like, listen. Because at
Mm-hmm.
first I understood the apprehension and the fear to leave him, but Piper, you got to get back out there and blow some shit up. You got to.
You got to,
At
baby.
that point,
Yeah.
you're our best power at this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, we need you.
Yeah,
You got to
it's
get back in the field at some point.
yeah, it's like when Leo was frozen and they had to go snatch her of Billy's parent, and Phoebe had to tell her, "Look, you got the firepower. All I can do is get a premonition, and I ain't done that in weeks. So you gonna have to go,
One of us gonna have to man up, and it's gonna have to be you.
because I can't premonition a bullet."
Okay, okay, okay.
I can't wait till we start talking about the cave dweller and her
Oh
sister.
my,
Oh
oh my
Lord Jesus,
goodness,
have mercy.
bottom
Not
of the
Pebbles Flintstone.
already bottom of the list.
I mean,
Oh
underneath
God,
this, actually.
I can't stand them. I cannot stand them. I cannot stand. And poor Billy. Billy was just along for the ride. For her to have been as like huge a part of the story as she was just kind of there.
She was,
Afterthought in her own story.
Mm-hmm.
and like she
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to be like the ultimate power, and she just went wherever the wind blew.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
Oh, is that my
have
long
her
lost
powers.
sister? Yeah, I'm gonna be with her.
Her powers are crazy. She's so powerful and talented, and just it didn't really matter in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching the other day. Why would she jump down and flip over them stairs like that just to run outside?
Just being extra.
But it was
For the
cool to
same
see.
reason that the demons had to use a key to get in the house.
It was cool to see because, but I was like, she ran down the stairs. You're almost at the bottom. Then you're gonna just flip over those last couple of stairs
Well, and now in that same respect, why is your girl Xena up here doing all these flips just to flip?
because she can. Because she wants to.
Yeah. But you know what? Sometimes like you just have like that extra energy, and you just have to burn it off.
That is true.
You just have to burn it off
She would
to
like
Hmm.
keep from being
flip,
jittery.
like she would just flip for the hell of it. I feel like flipping today. I'm gonna flip. Let's flip, and she would just flip.
Okay. And she
It'd
said,
be
baby,
like,
listen, I gotta get my exercise in, my cardio.
and we like she would flip from like one place to another, and it wouldn't actually even be that far. They make it look like it's far. She flipped from like one end of the table to the next.
Oh God in heaven.
I I I know we're supposed to talk about Xena, but I don't know what exactly were we going to touch on about the Warrior Princess.
I feel like I haven't watched it enough to have like discussion. It would just kind of be like general stuff. So if we want to come back to
Like
that
how did
next week.
or how much have you watched? Like how you feeling about it so far?
I've only watched a couple of like 2 or 3 episodes, and so far I really enjoy it because I feel like it has good characters. I like the fact that they have a history between the characters that's already established. Like the fact that I was gonna call her Lucy Lawless, but the fact that Xena and Draco dated, and now we're kind of in the aftermath of that, where like he still wants her back, but it's like, all right, if I can't have you, nobody can. And just watching her interact with this world, knowing how much pain she's caused in it. And that man that's trying to help her. I think I'm on the episode now where that man is trying to help her. Like he's in this small town and they find out who she is. And they're like, okay, she gotta go. And he's like, no, because she saved my family and I'm trying to save her. And then like there was one part because she's hurt, she got stabbed or whatever. And it's weird because she got hit and she immediately fell down. And I'm like, you're not gonna like slowly lean over, you just gonna just plop. And but then it's like I think I'm making this up, but I remember like her trying to do something and she made like the noise real quick. She was like, and then she just stopped real
Oh
quick
yes,
because her
that
stomach
iconic
started
noise.
hurting. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like she was finna go attack somebody or something, and her side started hurting, and she said, la, 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 and then she's like, ugh. She's like, ah, darn, I can't do it. And I was like,
Fascinating
oh,
about her story is she's not your typical hero story. Like she was a evil, dark-sided, demonic, demented person who did a lot of horrible things. And the play, like you'll see it throughout the series, she did a lot of terrible things. And so her whole journey is like trying to find redemption. But seeing her toy with her dark side, it's when Xena goes dark on the show, you'll see it's
mhm.
very juicy. It's very juicy because evil Xena is beautiful to see, in my opinion.
Oh, I can't wait now because the way she plays good Xena is so interesting. Because if she could punch Gabrielle in the face, I kind of get the feeling she would at this point in the show. Like it's not that she don't like her. I think she just gets on her nerves.
She's irritating. She's an irritant.
Yeah. Yeah, Gabrielle is kind of like sickening and not in a good way.
But as the show goes on, like her arc, like the way they each evolve is beautiful. But by the end of the series, Gabrielle, who you have at the end, is nothing like the Gabrielle you meet season one.
Oh wow.
She's a whole different person, and she goes through a lot. But I like she ends up being the person, and they toy with Zeta make her who she was, her life make her who she was. But she's someone totally different, and I think you'll dig her by the end. Like really, really like her.
Oh, I can't wait to get there. Because I saw she cuts her hair and I'm like, oh my goodness, she looks so different.
I think
She either
when she
cuts her hair or takes a wig off. I don't know which one it is, but she looks
Oh yeah,
good.
I'm not going to tell you how or why, but it plays into the story. That's all I'm gonna say. It's juicy too. Ooh, it's juicy. I cannot wait for you to meet one specific character. Well, three, but one specifically who comes around almost every season after you meet them, and
Well,
it
baby.
ties into the hair. That's all I say.
Oh well, I can't wait because I'm telling you, I saw that picture of Gabrielle with that short hair, and I said, yes, ma'am. I
The
said, yes,
fans hated
ma'am.
it. The fans hated the short hair.
Really?
Looking back, I hated it because I don't like change. But now looking at it as an adult, I really like it.
I like the style on her because she is I- this might sound really stupid, but she's such a petite woman that sometimes when they have like long hair like that, it can look bad, if that makes any sense. Because it's like the style doesn't fit them. But when she cuts it short like that, like she looks like she's more herself. I don't know. I'm only seeing pictures. I don't know. Let me stop trying to
Like
talk
an
like I'm
adult.
somebody. Like an adult.
She
Yes,
looks really
like an adult.
young those first couple of seasons. I mean, she's supposed to be playing a young person, but she looks really young and immature, which she's supposed to be. But as the show goes on, she starts to look more, life starts doing its thing to her. I put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Xena, she looked young that first season, but by the end, my girl looked like she had really was tired. She was tired.
Like she had been through the ringer and she was ready to go.
So
Been working on the railroad.
Okay, okay. All the live long day.
I think That's what I do. So by the next one, I'm gonna rewatch the first episode of Buffy so I can have something to report on.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I might try to watch a couple episodes of Xena. It really has been so long since I've seen it. Like like the stuff that you've been talking about, like is familiar, but I do need
Mhm.
to catch up.
Can't wait for you to get into like season. For me, season two they found their footing, but three and four are the best seasons of that show.
Oh, see, I can't wait for that. I love when a show hits its stride and says, "All right, this is who we are."
It's so iconic. Oh my god! And Lucy acted her ass off. Renee acted like everybody on that show acts their ass off. Have you met Aries yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, okay, you'll like
But I've
Aries.
heard a
Beginning,
lot of good things about Aries.
Oh,
he they have this great chemistry. Did you ever watch Ash versus the Evil Dead?
No,
You know who Bruce Campbell is, though, right?
no.
Okay,
but
because
he was in Charmed. He was the
oh yeah,
Detective Jackman, season 4 finale.
the Witch Hunter.
Uh-huh.
Really? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Ah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, him. He was on the show. He plays the King of Thieves, and they have such great chemistry. Lucy and him.
Hmm.
I cannot wait for you to see all these familiar. You're gonna see faces on there that you recognize from like what's her name? What's the Afro Latino woman from Suits? And
Gina
Oh,
Torres.
Gina
Gina
Torres.
Torres is on Xena also.
Oh, really? That is so interesting.
She's on there. She plays a couple of different characters. I know she plays Cleopatra at one point also.
Okay, confused.
Can you please?
I'm sorry.
You're going to. I kind of like. I want to watch it with you. That's how much I love this show.
It's been
Uh,
so interesting because, like, I'm telling you, I've been watching it at work. Like, I just will randomly put it on while I'm doing stuff, and I'm like, these people are cutting up. I
have
told you,
either you watched, or just say, have either you watched Salem?
I
no,
started. I
I've
didn't. I got
heard
to go
of
back.
it.
Lucy's on
Yeah.
Salem, right?
Yeah, she comes, I think, like in the second season. Yo, she shows out. It's really good. It's like 3 seasons. It's a really tight three. I hated that guy counselor, but it was, yeah, they was putting them ladies through it.
Other show she was on that her husband was producing. It's kind of along the lines of like Xena. It's a period piece. I can't think of it. It's a big show. I can't think of the name of
Yeah.
it. Let me look it up.
Child, you know I don't know.
Oh, Spartacus.
Spartacus. Because Rob did that. Her husband is Rob. Her husband is like the creator of the show, and like that's his baby. I don't know if you see
Oh
that Xena is married to like the creator of the show.
Oh,
no.
Yeah. Well, I should say Lucy is married to him.
Come on, ZZ.
So like he did Spartacus and he put her on there, and she played a very dark sided character.
oh, she was dark sided on Salem too. Very. So I
That
guess she
must
got
just be
that
who
on
she
lock.
is as a person. Hmm.
If you watch Shield, she was on Shield for a little bit too.
I don't know what that is.
Agents of Shield. It's a a
Oh,
Marvel set.
that. Oh, yeah, that. Yeah, I
She
remember
was
that.
on
I heard
there
it.
briefly. They brought her on, and then they killed her, so I stopped watching.
Okay,
I'm
gotcha.
so excited for you to get into the Warrior Princess.
Yes, I'm so ready to see these storylines because the way my girl, when she saw her mom and her mama was like, do with her what you will. I was like, oh my God.
She was like, I don't really care what y'all do to her, actually. But then when she
Okay.
tried to save us, oh my God, you saved us. Thank you. Let me hug you now.
All of a sudden, that's her daughter, and she's so proud of her. And I'm like, and then Zena was like, I can't stay long. And then they just like switch to the next scene, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Cyrene has an interesting journey also on the show. I just there's so much I want to say, but I want to leave some mystery because there's some really cool stuff that's going to unfold. It just takes them a minute to get to it.
Now, I cannot wait to get into this story.
And then, as it goes on, the special effects they get better. The fight scenes get amazing. I cannot wait for you to get to one against an army.
Mhm.
It's pretty much an episode of her fighting the 300 by herself for like an hour, all by herself.
Oh my God. Oh
And she's
yeah.
Oh
taking
wow.
niggas out left and right. Oh, I shouldn't have said the N word. Sorry.
Oh, that'll be all right. They know.
They
They've heard
stood
it
on that.
before.
But like when it comes to fighting, there are times you can tell there's a stunt double. Sometimes it's kind of sloppy, but then there are other times where you really do think it's Lucy doing the stunts.
Yeah. Yeah.
She did some of her own, but then she like fell off a horse once and like I think she fractured her femur or something.
Oh, so she was like, no, I'm
Uh,
good.
So they had to like dial up the what's her face? I can't think of. I'm drawing a blank. Their stunt double. And what's really cool is Lucy has used the same stunt double across different shows.
Really?
Yeah, she's Zoe is her name. Zoe is like her best stunt double. So she's used her, I think,
Mhm.
on 3 different shows.
Uh-oh. Come on, keep a job.
She actually had some Australian show out 2 years ago where her and Gabrielle reunited and they play like police detectives. Or no, she's a police detective and Renee is like a woman that she's trying to solve a crime with.
Mhm.
They have really good chemistry. So I am excited for you and for me.
Yes. I'm ready to get into this. I'm so ready. Like, because right now we're moving and a whole bunch of other stuff. But baby, once it settles down and I get a chance, I can just sit down. I'll probably watch a whole season in a day.
Uh, we'll see when you get to the finale what you think.
Okay. Okay. Look, that'll be when we really convene and we have our comprehensive conversation.
I'm still not happy with how the show ended. We were supposed to get a reboot a couple of like 2 years ago in the middle of the
Mm,
pandemic, but they said I think the script wasn't good enough, so they shelved it. But they had a pilot that they were going to shoot.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know who could play Xena in 23 though. I don't know. I feel like Lucy still looks good enough. She could do it.
I mean, quiet as a skips.
and get that stunt double.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
when she's not busy being arrested for she does a lot of like environmental protesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
she gets arrested for like boarding those ships that like kill whales. Like she actually got on one of the ships and was protesting, and they had to arrest her.
Oh my God.
And
She
they had
said,
to
baby,
stand.
listen, I'm not doing this with you.
She'd be dragging Hercules online because he's a Trumper. He's like a MAGA freak.
Mhm.
So she'd be
Oh,
online dragging him any chance she gets.
all right. So, y'all, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up the episode for this week. And just remember to always keep this with you. It's never too late for a party. It's
It's
never too
never
late,
too
Prue.
late, Fruit.
See? Well, see, we in unison already. We're trying to say it together because it is never too late.
I was trying to say, and I had like a hiccup that came out. So childish.
Well, all right, y'all. It's been great talking. It's been great catching up. And I'm glad we had a chance to really dig deep into this episode and hope to catch y'all next time.
We'll be back.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.